idea, and here you all are. Amazing. I'm Christine Broner, and I have the absolute honor and privilege of working with your friend or family member, whoever is in this showcase today. Many of the people come to me to see me. My studio is in my house, super cash, right? So it's just like Christine's house is the thing. But collectively, me plus them plus the school room we get to work in is Limelight Studio. And so that's what I like to call it. I just kind of named it. And they all have been working really hard. Some people are new actors here, maybe 4 months with me. Some people are very seasoned. They've been working with me for 3 or 4 years. So I've been seeing them for a long time. Some people, this is their first showcase with me. Some people, this is their third. So this is our third annual. Last year we couldn't do anything, so we made a video. I borrowed downtown Dayton, and we had them on camera, and each one of them did one line of a poem, and then we knitted it all together and made a cute little video last year, because we all had to have masks on our face and we couldn't gather like this. So this is our third one. At the end of the performance, which hopefully you have a program in your hand, you can kind of follow along the order. At the end of the performance, the actors will introduce themselves to you, and then we will open up the forum for a Q&A session. So if you are really dying to ask one of them something, you know, how did you find that monologue or whatever, feel free. Speaking of monologues, I'll tell you a little bit of background, those of you who aren't in theater or performance as your life. Monologues, mono means one, right? So monologue is a speech that some character gives in the middle of a play. You go to see a play, there's usually a scene, back and forth, and then suddenly one actor has this long, something wonderful to say. It's longer. So what we do as actors is we try to collect those speeches, ones that are perfect for us, that are the right age, gender for us, and we use them when we go audition for things, because we have the unfortunate disadvantage. If I were a dentist, I would just send them my here are my credentials, here's my CV, here's some letters of recommendation, and I'd get a job as a dentist. But as an actor, you have to go show them, here I am acting. So actors collect monologues that are perfect for them to use in these audition situations. So essentially, this is an audition for them today. There's a lot of theater people here in the audience, actually. So they very well may see you again some other time when you're watching a show here in Dayton. A couple things I want to tell you to help make you more comfortable today. We are so blessed to be standing in this room. So the only reason we're here is because I lost the other place where I wanted to do this situation. I couldn't use that room, so I just put it out to the powers that be that I need a good place. And I read online that this building was up for auction. And I scrolled down the listing because I liked what I saw, and I knew the person who was the auctioneer. And I was like, hi, Tim Lyle. So what's happening to that building? It has since been sold. You saw the giant sign outside. They don't close on it for another 9 days, so slip right in. And we are here, so we're really excited to be here. If something happens, there's an emergency or something, stay calm and we'll just go right out where we came in. So I just wanted to say that, because like nobody's in charge of us, right? So we just want to sort of think about that. So let's all be careful of each other. I'd like to publicly thank some people who have put up with my special brand of crazy for, well, some of them for 25 years, especially this last week. And that is my husband and my daughter, who live with that all the time. My mom came from North Carolina to help with this. And then some really special friends of mine who are helping today. That's my friend Darlene in the back, and Helen, who's sitting next to my mom, and Vern, who's helping us stage manage today. So thank you to all of you, and to Tim as well for helping us get this building. So that's sort of the ins and outs of it, of what we're doing. Today's the first day of spring, right? So we're sort of celebrating spring today, right? So spring to me is like all winter long, everything was covered in snow and sludge, and you just thought, it's never happening again, and then my goodness, that bud comes on the tree and something blooms, and it happens. It's amazing. Well, as a performing artist for the last couple of years, we've kind of felt like we were under snow, right? Everything shut down and we wanted to blossom again. So I just am so proud to present to you this amazing assembly of life. Enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Jill. I'm speaking to you directly from my subconscious mind. I do this to save time. I'm a distracted person. I'm not the hero of this play. I'm not the hero of any play I could be in, except the play I wrote. And even my own play, I wouldn't be the hero. It would be a tragedy, of course. And it would be senseless, because whatever had gone wrong with the world would have gone wrong long before the play even started. I wouldn't want to see this play, much less be in it. In fact, I wrote this play and was describing, and it was performed. And afterwards, someone asked, "Who wrote this play?" I would just look around and see who raised their hand. This is because I am a coward, which is the root of my problem. So I'm not in a play of my own, and I am not the hero. I want to be stopped. I cannot stop myself. I am a villain. I have a job to do. I'm going to do it.
I'm going to help you understand how it happened. You see, when you lose one sock, it leaves behind its mate. Or partner, let's call it partner. So you wear the next pair and you lose one of those. Because it's actually more likely that you'll lose one of a matched pair than one of an unmatched pair. Because most people are less likely to wear an unwashed and unmatched sock. Unless they're us who stop washing them altogether. So the odds are even greater that the next sock to get lost will be part of a pair. It's important, Mima. It's important to understand how the world works. Let's say you have 10 complete but distinct pairs of socks, meaning each pair differs from another. Then it will be over 100 times more likely that the result will be the worst possible outcome. The best possible outcome will be 7 complete pairs left. Drawing 2 socks at random. Even for a drawer full of complete pairs, you're going to probably get 2 odd socks. Facts make up the world. So probability is a religious experience. For me. Do you know what's really strange? The odds of 2 lost socks finding each other is astronomical. But to make pairs that have a random collection of odd lost socks? Well, that's unheard of! That's all I'm trying to say.
My name is Dennis Candle. Around the school, I am the object of ridicule from most of the students, simply because I have an extremely high IQ. It's 176. My father wanted to enroll me in a special school that deals with geniuses like myself, but Mother was firmly against that. She wanted me to have a normal education and not be treated as some kind of freak, which is ironic because that's exactly what is happening to me here. The whole concept of education is a paradox. High school is supposed to celebrate education and knowledge. But what it really celebrates is social groups and popularity. In a perfect world, a kid like me would be worshipped for my scholastic abilities, instead of some kid who can throw a 40-yard touchdown pass. Now, I suppose I could complain and bemoan the unfairness of it all, but I'm right. I know something that the others don't, that once we leave high school and enter the real world, all the rules change. What matters is power. Financial power. Power that comes from making a fortune on cutting-edge computer software. Software that I am already developing. Some call me a nerd. I call myself ahead of my time. I'll see you on the outside.
I just wanted to survive. To make it through the school year to the summer when I could go to California where no one would know who I was. Except my dad, who knows what I like without even asking. I guess what I really like are numbers. But then I think numbers are stupid to like. Because in high school, what can you do with numbers? Like at the meet on Wednesday, I was in the middle of that totally nasty multivariable algebraic equation. And all I could hear is the breathing of that red-haired kid with asthma. In and out. In and out. And it's like I can't stop listening because I swear any second he's gonna stop breathing. I totally cut gym class the day we had that CPR stuff. But then I just start moving my pencil fast, and I don't know where I'm headed. I'm just doing it, substituting in, distributing, and suddenly the equation starts to look like something else, right? And I have no idea if that kid with asthma is breathing or what, and I don't care. California, or the Jens at cheerleading practice, or failing English class. I think that's what it must feel like when pie ends.
I got my nose pierced the day it happened. I wanted to have it done for ages, but my mom said my dad would go insane. Although, to be honest, I don't think he'd notice if I pierced both my eyebrows, my lip, my nose, my ears, and got a tattoo that said slut across my forehead. Because he's not that kind of dad. He's the kind of dad that works all day and then comes home and sits in front of the telly and doesn't talk to anyone for the night kind of dad. It's like my mom threatens us with him just so we'll think he gives a crap, but we know he doesn't. I read in a magazine about this girl who really wanted to get to know her parents. She turned 15 and she wanted to form an adult relationship with them. But as far as I could see, all that meant is that she wanted to talk about sex with them. I can't think of anything worse than talking about sex with my parents. It's disgusting. I mean, when you think about something, part of you is making little pictures in your head to go along with it, even if you don't want it to. You know, like if I say to you, whatever you do, don't think of a pink elephant. What are you thinking of? See, so match that with talking about sex with your parents? It's just disgusting.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. But since I want to be great and everything I say can be found on the web, I think I'm safe. The term hacker at first is referred to someone with mastery of computers. In the 1980s, suddenly, there started to be a lot of laws against hacking, including going into a system without the authority to do so, even if you didn't break it. Let me tell you something. Most hackers are not trying to bring down the system. Most hackers just want to see how things work. They just want to explore. Here's a quaint 1950s way to look at it. In the old days, kids would break into the old abandoned house at the end of the block. Maybe you just wanted some privacy, a place to be alone and away from the expectations of your parents. Maybe he was the closest thing to being someplace new. What's inside? How do other people live? And as long as you didn't break or steal anything, you get a slap on the wrist. That's what we're doing. We're just tiptoeing through Boo Radley's house. So leave us alone. Third grade playground. It's the game of tag. You're it. 100 kids are running around and you can't catch a single one. You're desperate, you're panting, you're crying for someone to slow down so that you don't have to be it anymore. So, feeling sorry for you, because I'm an idiot, I walk right up and say, here Dante, I'll be it. You can tag me. And you say, I don't want to tag you, that's too easy. Whatever you can't have, that's what you want. That's why you said you were in love with Kay all these years. You knew deep down that she would never return your affection, and that made things easy and safe. Every time she rejected you, that meant you'd never have to feel anything real. You'd never have to know what it's like to have someone who wants to be with you, which meant you could always be alone. But is that what you want, Dante? Look at her. You've been chasing Kay like she was some sort of dream. Well, don't you want it to come true? Wait, why are you looking at me like that?
I saw on the Discovery Channel where a long time ago, before the beginning of time, the entire universe was as small as the head of a pin. Everything in the universe. And then one day, this head of a pin just exploded and everything came out at like 1,000,000 degrees hot and 1,000,000 miles an hour. And all the stars and planets and people and cars just kept getting bigger and bigger until they filled up all the space and all the time, just burning and melting and spinning. And as soon as I heard that, I knew that I was just like that pin and that one day I'm gonna explode too. And when I do, fire and stars and whole worlds will come out of me and they'll be 1,000,000 degrees hot and they'll travel so far and so fast that I'll never have to come back here again. Not ever, not
And so what if I didn't need her? Is that so bad? All right, crucify me. I needed her. So what? I don't want to be by myself. I'm by myself, I feel like I'm going out of my mind. I do. I sit there, I think I forget, I'm not going to make it for the next 10 seconds. I just can't stand it. But I do. Somehow I get through the 10 seconds, but then I have to do it all over again because they just keep coming all of these seconds, floating by while I'm waiting for something to happen. And I don't know what, a car wreck, a nuclear war, something. That sounds awful. But let's take this instant when I know I was alive. Just once. Because I look in the mirror and I can't believe I'm really there. I can't believe that's me. It's like my body, right? It's the size of, what? The Statue of Liberty. And I'm inside it. I'm down in one of the legs, this gigantic hairy leg, and I'm scraping around the inside my own foot like some tiny fetus. And I don't know who I am or where I'm going, and I wish I'd never been born. Plus, my hair is falling out. Sex.
I walked out on a woman with multiple sclerosis and 2 children. One of them brain damaged because I was too drunk to see him playing in the snow and ran over him with the snowblower. I left them with no money and no way to feed themselves, moved as far away as I possibly could, changed my name, took the cash I'd stolen from the savings account to pay for the kids' education and put myself through school, so that I could become a physical therapist that works with multiple sclerosis victims and the occasional brain damaged child with resultant motor skill difficulties. None of whom held the slightest interest for me other than to remind me of something I could never escape as long as I live. And let's see. I married a nice, crippled, deaf girl, and I don't drink anymore. The past is something you wake up to. It's the nightmare you wake up to every day.
Stop! Neither one of you are really interested in what I have to say. It's just your pathetic attempt to engage someone else in a conversation on your favorite topic. Yourselves. Don't you ever talk about anything else? When was the last time either of you were doing anything other than promoting yourselves or your agenda? You spend your entire lives crammed into little offices, pouring through documents, or better yet, having someone do it for you, making decisions that affect the people you supposedly represent. And what really matters is to try to get it all done by 5 o'clock so you can hit the bar in time for happy hour and flirt with the cute young interns. And why do you do it? Because you love the power. You live off the excitement of beating the other political party like you were playing a goddamn football game or something. And then, every couple of years, you come back out here and try to convince all of us dumb country bumpkins that you've done great things for the state, but you could do so much more if we just give you 2 more years. And after you win, we never see you again. And you wonder why people hate politicians. Well, there you go. I hope that answers any subsequent questions you may have had. And stop sending me gifts, both of you. You don't know anything about women either.
It's just what you said, Jeanette. They're all the same, all cut from the same worthless cloth. I have stacks and stacks of research that will bring this out. The average male, by the age of 40, will have slept with 22.6 women, betrayed 1.8 wives, seduced 3.4 female employees, and fondled 98 separate breasts. This hound-like behavior is inborn in the species. It would take decades of genetic engineering to weed out the deficient strain. So many times I felt a twinge of regret after this class, knowing that the single woman I was sending out into the world filled with enthusiasm and optimistic cant was destined to fall victim to the devious lust and manipulative malevolence of her brutish male counterpart. All my positive lessons and happy thoughts trampled into the inner wake. If I weren't such an up person, I'd be almost bitter. So, don't waste your sympathy, honey. If he hasn't screwed you personally, you can bet he's screwed someone just like you. Or he will in the near future. They can't help it, the poor misguided beasts. They just can't be civilized. Does that clear it up for you?
You never saw it. Dominic was funny and gentle. Ambitions destroyed him, that's all. Because he thinks that the world of the media matters. He actually thinks that it's real. So it's been harder to reach him, it's true. So he's gone off with someone who cares about photos and magazines and opinion columns and all of those London things. But that doesn't mean the man was always contemptible. That doesn't mean I shouldn't have been with him at all. It just means, look, the odds were against us. But I happen to think it was well worth a try. Of course I knew. Do you think I'm an idiot? I always sensed one day this man will trade up. He'll cash me in and he'll get a new model. I always felt it would come. These men, they wait. They wait till they're ready. You make them secure. Then of course, once you've built the statue, that's when they kick the ladder away. But I did know it. I did it knowingly. It was my choice.
I don't want you to wait, Mom. You're too restless to wait. Mom, it's not so bad to be restless. It's good. I get restless too. Mom, I do. Because I don't want us to be with Bruce or argue with Dad. I don't want us to be like us. I want something more. I want what Grandpa had. I want how he painted. Like his girl. I want to be the girl Grandpa painted. More than anything I know, I want to be in that picture. Something like that picture. I want to wear that white headband she's got around her head. And that t-shirt. I want that extra large t-shirt that's so light you can see through it. I want to go running like that, in the middle of the night. More than anything I know. Far away from anybody, any town, teachers, family. Just want to go down and visit the ocean and the mountains, everything. Yeah. Because I think if I could do that, and not miss all of the stuff, everything in life, the people, the things to do, then I would be happy. I could be happy in a way that I could walk around for 60 years or so until I died, wearing nothing but this white t-shirt and a headband. Except on the headband, I embroidered, Sally's gone. That's right. Sally's gone, and she left her name. So don't try calling after her. She left her name.
Listen, Bernice, doesn't it strike you as strange that I am I and you are you? Like when you're walking down the street and you meet somebody and you are you and he's him, yet when you look at each other, the eyes make a connection. And then you go off one way and he goes off another way, and you go off into different parts of town, and maybe you never see each other again. Not in your whole life. Do you see what I mean? That's not what I meant to say anyway. There are all these people here in town I don't even know by sight or name. And we pass alongside each other without any connection. And they don't know me, and I don't know them, and now I'm leaving town, and there are all these people I will never know. When we leave Winter Hill, we're going to more places than you ever thought about or even knew existed. And talking of things happening, things will happen so fast you won't hardly have time to realize them. One thing after another happening so fast you won't hardly notice it. And we will meet them. Everybody.
Mom came back from the hospital yesterday. It'll be nice to have the family together again. Only it isn't like it was before. She didn't come back alone. She brought my brother's new baby sister with her. She isn't my baby sister, that's for sure. I would never have a sister, especially one like that. She's both one, like
You know, not everything has to be so important all the time. Not everything has to rip your guts out and expose your soul. Not everyone wants art that actually hurts. Sometimes you just want to steal like a landscape or soup can or comic book. Which you might learn if you ever actually left your medically sealed submarine in with all the windows closed and no natural lights, because natural light isn't good enough for you. But then nothing is ever good enough for you. Not even the people who buy your pictures. Museums are nothing but mausoleums. Galleries are run by pimps and swindlers. And art collectors are nothing but shallow social climbers. So who is good enough to own your art? Anyone? Or maybe the real question is, who's good enough to even see your art? Is it possible that just no one is worthy to look at your paintings? That's it, isn't it? We have all been weighed in the balance and have been found wanting. My friend, I don't think you'd recognize a real human being if he was standing right in front of you. Never mind.
Last night, right from the start, I knew I was bombing. I sounded big and phony, real deep and down, and then I started rushing it highway through Denmark. I just could not connect. I couldn't get over it. And while I'm babbling, I look out and there's this guy in the second row, a kid like 16, obviously dragged there. And he's yawning and jiggling his legs and reading his program, and I just wanted to say, hey kid, I'm with you, I can't stand this either. But I couldn't do that, so I just kept doing worse and worse, just drowning. And I thought, okay, all my questions are answered. I'm not Hamlet, I'm no actor, what am I doing here? And then I get to the big job, I'm right in the headlights, and I just thought, oh Christ, the hell with it, just to do it. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. And I kept going, I finished the speech, and I look out, and there's the kid, and he's listening. The whole audience, complete silence, total focus. And I was Hamlet. And it lasted about 10 seconds, and I was back in hell, and I stayed there. But for that one little bit, for that one speech, I had it. Hamlet. And only 8,000 lines left to go.
Poison. You want to talk about poison? Look at what you've done. You've created a family of literary zombies. You know that people are afraid of you. It's why you've gotten so far. Yes! Isaac Geltart knows something. He came from some awful childhood in Europe that nobody knows about. He has a seer life standing in the book world. Blah, 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 phooey. Let me tell you, we're screwed up by it. I grew up running around in this building. When I was 8, you gave me the Iliad in Greek so that someday I could read it. Monster. People's lives are ruined by books, and they're all you know how to relate to, Dad. You too, Aaron, for all your talk. You too, Sarah, pretending you hate to read. Sometimes I want to take a pruning shears and do an Oedipus on myself. I counted my books last week. Do you know how many I have? Want to take a guess? 14,386. The 60 crates of books that Mom left me. Well, I finally had them carted up the Hudson, but I had to have shelves built. The whole house, every room, and instead of just guessing, I mean, speechless. A wreck of a life, it just flashed before my eyes. No sex, no people, just books till I die.
Because I've always wanted to be a museum guard. Because I've always loved paintings.
Because I've always thought that paintings should be in a person's house and not in a museum. Don't get me wrong. I do want paintings to be in a museum, and I swear to protect them. I would never remove one or touch one. I promise to guard them and uphold all the regulations. I've always wanted to be a museum guard, my whole life long. Because how could you really look at a painting and love it and understand it if you see it for 5 minutes? You've got to look at it the whole day long, maybe your whole life long. I'll be the best museum guard you've ever seen. I will. I'm gonna have a baby. I'm gonna be the best father and the best museum guard that you've ever seen. We're naming it Jill, if it's a girl. I can't wait to start.
Yeah, he taught me a lot of things. And a lot of things I had to learn on my own. Like that time Mr. Rand came to the house to collect the rent when we were 2 months behind. I don't remember what year it was. I just know that it was winter. And Grandma Ada had just passed, and you got behind in the rent because you had to help pay for her funeral. I don't know if you knew it, Pop, but you were a big man. Everywhere you went, people treated you like a big man. You used to take me to the barber shop with you. You'd walk in there and fill up the whole place. Everybody would stop cussing because Jim Becker had walked in. I would just look at you and wonder, how could you be that big? I wanted to be like that. I would go to school and try to make myself feel big. I never could. I told myself, that's okay. When I get grown, I'm gonna be big like that. Walk into the barbershop and have everybody stop and stare at me. That day when Mr. Rand came by the house, it was snowing. I was waiting for you to tell him to shut up, to get off your porch. But you just looked at him and promised you'd have the money the next month. Mr. Rand kept shouting and cussing. And I looked at you, and you had got smaller. The longer he shouted, the smaller you got. When we went back to the barbershop, you didn't seem so big no more. You was the same size as everybody else. You was just another man in the barbershop. That's when I told myself, if I ever got big, I wouldn't let nothing make me small.
After I told her what happened, she asked me very few questions about the evening and acted like it was no big deal. Then she blurted out that for $1,200 she could handle the case. But first she needed some background information about me. She asked me had I ever been arrested before, and I responded, no, of course no. She stared at me with this all-knowing eye and replied with a smirk on her face. It's all right, you can tell me. Even though your father's here, you can tell me if you have been arrested before. Come on. I was furious and ready to leave. What kind of help was she gonna give me when she just assumed I had a police record she didn't believe? She painted this pretty bleak scenario of my chances of beating this assault charge. She said my best possible hope was to plead guilty and receive the suspended sentence. As I sat in that chair, my mind filled with every graphic image of prison life. Every prison movie, prison documentary, and prison story I had ever heard blanketed my thoughts and sent absolute horror and fear to my heart. I was afraid to ask. I feared what she might say, but I had to know. Am I going to jail for this?
I wish I was famous. Wouldn't that be nice? I wish I didn't have to perform in tiny theaters that nobody's ever heard of. I wish I could play the lead role in a big show on Broadway with my name up in lights. I wish I could appear on TV and in movies and in magazines and everyone would know who I was. I'd be so famous. People everywhere would recognize me. Everywhere. All over the world. I wish I was so famous that even people in the most remote locations on Earth would be familiar with me. Even in the most hellish, disease-ridden, war-stricken, famine-ravaged, politically unstable countries, people know me. Though they would have no food to eat or water to drink, they could draw spiritual and emotional sustenance from the image of my face. My face! Shining down from billboards and TVs and magazine covers, bringing life to the arid desert and frozen tundra. My face! Well, you've got to have a drink.
Honey, I don't want to hurt you. I want to change you. I want to save you. I want to make you see that there is some value in life, that there is some beauty, some tenderness, some things worth reacting to, some things worth feeling. Come back here! I swear, Alfred, nobody is going to kill you, but you've got to take some chances sometime. What do you want out of life? Just survival? It's not enough. It's not enough. I'm not going to have a surviving marriage. I'm going to have a flourishing marriage. I am a woman, or by Jesus, it's about time I became one. I want a family. Christ, Alfred, this is my wedding day. I want to be married to a big, strong, protective, vital, virile, self-assured man who I can protect and take care of. Alfred, honey, you're the first man I've ever gone to bed with where I didn't feel he was a lot more likely to get pregnant than I was. You owe me something. I've invested everything I believe in you. You've got to let me mold you. Please let me mold you. You've got me begging and crying. I've never been like this in my life. Look at this. That's a tear. I've never cried in my life.
People just kill me. I mean, we're all so limited. I don't mean financially or emotionally, I just mean by life. Like, somehow our resources have been severely limited. Like, we have no maps, number of guideposts, and in spite of it, we seem to want to go on. We go to sleep, we get up, and we eat these little meals, you know? And on top of it, someone like Isabella, we would put a little flower on our plates. Just for you, just for something special, just so that moment matters, and it kills me. It just practically breaks me in two. And that's why I have to take these pictures. I have to, just so I can say to whoever it is that I see them, which, all right, who cares if I see them, except I care. I mean, it affects me. I mean, when I get right down to it, that's the main thing that matters to me. I guess my camera is that special thing for me. A little flower I put by someone's plate. Just a way to say this moment matters.
I remember I had stolen a dress that day. Did I tell you about this? I stole a designer dress from the department store. I could have bought it myself. I have the money. It was a very pretty dress. It had sparkle, you know? Those bits that catch the light. Not diamonds, the other word. I didn't want it badly enough to pay. And it was my birthday. I thought if I got caught, I would tell them that it is my birthday, and they would let me take it anyway. But I did not get caught. In the room where you try things on, I put on the dress, then I put on my long dress over it, and then I walked home. And my heart was so light. And I arrived home, and my house was full of friends, all smiling and eating little food on plates. And there was a pile of cadeaux in the corner, gifts. And I took off my dress, and beneath I was sparkling, and everyone shouted, "Ah!" and applauded. As if I could have run out of the party waiting for me. It was luck. I've always been lucky like that. I could sparkle for you now, if you'd like. I will become a holiday. I will decorate myself with twinkle lights and sing a song about a man who buries his heart in the dirt and later eats the dirt to remember how the heart tasted. I will behave myself.
hate them for bringing us here. I hate Mama as much as I hate Daddy, and I hate Daddy all the time. I hate him when he sits around the house in a stinking t-shirt, spilling beer all over everything and throwing up in the toilet. I hate the look in Mama's eyes when I'm at home. I hate the way she hides. This place stinks and she knows it and he knows it, and they act like it's going to be different someday, but it never will be, and they know that too. They know they're lying, and we shouldn't have come here, but they won't take us home. I know they won't. So we'll just sit here, and Daddy will keep getting drunk all the time because his job stinks, and Mom will keep crying because he drinks so much because we don't have any money. And they'll fight all night, and we'll have to listen, me and Monty and Marie. We'll lay in that stinking apartment. We'll listen to him begging her to go to sleep, begging him not to hit her. I know. Things can never get better here. Not for us. And they ought to know it, and they ought to do something about it. They ought to take us home. But they won't. So I hate them almost as much as I hate this place. It's all I can feel, this ball of hate that's on fire, that's right here inside me all the time. It's all I can feel till sometimes I wish I could go away somewhere. Someplace where I'd never have to think about anything again.
Can I ask you something else? Happen to become a Catholic so as you can marry Heinz Otto next month and all. How do you feel? With his family being so different? Oh, sis, I didn't mean to upset you. I just meant why. I'll bet with a man as handsome as Heinz Otto, you'd have agreed to become just about any old kind of religion. Which is kind of why I just came to you. All us Madden girls never had any real religion. I mean, growing up on the farm, we learned the Bible. I can still recite all the books clear to Revelation. Really weren't anything. So when George asked Dot to become his religion, or Heinz Otto asks you, or somebody I marry someday is something, I got no real reason not to become what he is, have I? So when you went to Heinz Otto's priest for instruction, did you just learn a bunch of stuff? Or were you changed? Because if you weren't, I don't hardly see the point of it.
The biggest enemy of a soldier is his bowels, and his feet, and his lungs. And here there are lungs. In the morning when the drums roll wake them up, you hear the whole army cough. Thousands of men coughing all at once. Coughing so hard you can't hear the drums anymore. Can you tell a Confederate cough from a Yankee cough? I can't. It's the strangest thing. We think different, we talk different, we smell different. Wouldn't you think we cough different? Measles have killed more men than ever the guns have. More men have died of dysentery and scarlet fever and mumps and the typhus than ever died of bullet wounds. I'm half the girl I was now September has come. I'm half the girl I was on the 15th of June when these people started besieging us, my mother said. I'll be half again by the time they go. No man will ever want me. Man wants flesh on the bones he holds in his arms. Man sees me half the way I am now, think I've got the galloping consumption and he'll never marry me.
I did the right thing, didn't I? Did I do the right thing? I don't know if I did the right thing, and I'm treating me like a hero, and I know it should feel good, but it doesn't. I needed God to tell me what to do this morning. Was God telling me to lock that man in and run for the militia? Or was it just me doing that? When I tell myself it was God telling me, I feel I did the right thing. But maybe it just felt adventurous. Finding the enemy soldier, to be the one who turned him in. I'm not allowed to go to war, but I was the one who caught the redcoat. I tried talking to Father. Father gave me $1. You're the one I wanted to talk to. The sister, the man pounded on the door. He was sound asleep when I found him. I think I got the door shut before he saw my face. I prayed to God he didn't see my face. I hope he thinks I'm just some grown-up who caught him. He cried, Epiphany. After I got the door shut and barred, he pounded and begged for me to let him out. And I never said a word. And he started to cry. I could hear him. And I could have done it. I could have opened the door. He promised he would just go away. He wouldn't hurt anyone. He wouldn't set any more fires. He was hurt. He was tired and hungry. I could have lifted the bar and run. Nobody would have known. He could have walked out of that door and into the woods. I could have had mercy on him, Epiphany. And I didn't. It's time to go to meeting.
Before we moved here, we had this big dog named Scout. Mom thought he was a total mutt, but I also thought he was also part collie, and maybe part golden retriever. But he was definitely at least half mutt. Scout was supposed to be the whole family's dog, but he was really mutt. I mean, after school, it was me who would be waiting for him. And when anyone threw his ball, I'm the one he always brought it back to. And that night, it was my bed he slept in. But before we moved here, my mom found out we weren't allowed to have any pets. So we had to give them away to my cousins. I don't really talk about it, but sometimes I have dreams about Scout. He's got his ball in his mouth, and he's looking for me. And I'm saying, "Here, Scout, I'm right here." But he doesn't hear me. And he doesn't see me. And I'm saying, "Here, Scout, I'm right here." And then, I don't know, I guess I wake up. I wonder if Scout dreams about me.
Do you dream? I do. I don't know why. I'm sure it's no good for you. Dreaming is serious fun. People will tell you that's unhealthy. That's why I stay away from people. Dreaming pulls you out and up and away. I've been to really nice places in my dreams. Mars is my favorite. I don't care much for Martians, though. They don't like football. I don't trust people like that. Even though they aren't people, they should still admire football. Some things are just basic. Mud wrestling is next, but you can't expect your typical Martian to understand something like that. Only the smartest understand mud wrestling. I always feel smart, and also I keep that a secret. I'm only telling you because you seem smart too. You might understand why I dream. I hope so, but I doubt it. A good dreamer needs a good reason. Most people don't have one. I do. That's why I feel so sad for you. If you could only be like me, I'm the happiest girl in the world. I travel up, up, and away, and never leave the ground. Come fly with me. Up, up, and away. Or fly all the way to the stars.
My name is Nathan Evans. I'm an actor currently living here in Dayton, Ohio. I was recently in August, Osage County at the Big Playhouse, and have plans on moving to Los Angeles soon.
Hi guys, I'm Elise Wilkinson. I'm in 9th grade. I go to Centerville High School, and I'll be in Cinderella here soon.
Hi everybody, my name is Timothy McCuskey. I'm a senior at the University of Dayton, and this is my first showcase.
Hi, I'm Adeline. I'm a senior at Fairmont High School, and this weekend we're competing at the State Thespian Conference in a show called Selfie.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey, and this is my first time doing a showcase with Christine. It's really fun.
Hi, my name is Elliot J. Holmes. I am in 6th grade, and this is my first showcase.
Hello, my name is Leroy Bean. I am a spoken word poet, but this is my first showcase as an actor. I will be co-producing a show called Broken English 101 on April 1st.
Hello, I'm Eric Brownlee, and this is my first showcase.
I'm Tina Neaporn, and I've been working with Christine for about 5 months. This is also my first showcase.
Hi, I'm Julianne. This is my second showcase, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Griffin Greer. I am in 8th grade at Oakwood Junior High School, and I am playing Shrek and Shrek the Musical next weekend.
Hi, my name is Arlo Larson. I am 9 years old, and I just did the musical Schoolhouse Rock.
Hi, I'm Abrielle Ruby. I'm in 8th grade and I'm homeschooled, and I'm also a character. I'm a storyteller.
Hi, I'm Andrew Officer. I'm a sophomore at Chaminade Julienne, and I just finished playing Ellie in Friday.
Hi, I'm Eric Pettit. I'm a junior at Ultra High School, and I'm actually currently in Newsies. I had that day before this.
Hey, I'm Emily Nevers. I'm a sophomore at Sunday Academy. I've been with Christine for a couple years. This is actually my 3rd showcase with her. I'm actually playing Peter right now in Peter Pan.
Hi, I'm Jack Wyatt. I'm a sophomore at Topeka High School, and while it's currently postponed, I'm a cast member in News Machine's Addams Family.
Hi, I'm Charles Vermont III. I'm a new father, and this is my first showcase with Christine.
Hello, I'm Devin Bean. This is my first showcase, and I'm inspired to come to the end of it.
Hi, I'm Peter Bamberl, and this is my
Hi, I'm Nailani Huntington. I'm an actor and stage manager. My most recent project being stage management for August Osage County, and I am moving to Indiana tomorrow.
And I'm Christine, and it is absolutely my greatest joy to watch people become their best selves. It's just so much fun. It's a true honor. And I have something to give all of you, and I'll just try to do that as we chit-chat with these people. So does anybody have any comments or questions of any kind? They work really hard, so we'd love to hear your questions and give you some information. Anything goes. Please, what did you did like the multiple?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the first one that I did. That was just, it had just a weird vibe when I first saw it, and that's what I go for.
So the question is, anyone who has more than one, do you have a favorite one? And how do you got any or
I don't necessarily have a favorite one, but mine kind of like changed. I started with like the first monologue I did, like the math team one, was more my drama, and the dress one was my comedy. And then we ended up kind of changing the whole perspective of how I did them, so they kind of ended up flipping drama and comedy. So, but yeah, I really like doing them both.
Anybody here have more than 2 that you probably have prepared? Anybody raise your hand? Anybody have more than 3 that we worked on? Yep, raise your hand. Anybody have more than 4? Yep, raise your hand. More than 5? Yep, raise your hand. More than 6? Yep, more than 7? Yep, more than 8? Yep, working. So, yeah, great question. Thank you.
Yes, please. This is more of a general question, but during the monologues there was like sirens and people closing doors. I'd love to hear how can you focus on your monologue while remembering things and keeping a straight face and staying in character and not worrying about anyone else or anything going on. What do you do?
What do you do when there's all kinds of distractions? Griffin, take it.
A lot of times when you're doing any piece, whether or not a monologue or whatever, you're just very, very invested in the character that you're playing, and a lot of times you don't even notice some of those things that are happening on like the outside world because you're so sucked into what you're doing at the time.
Anybody else? Anybody have so much terror that they didn't hear one siren? Sirens? What siren? To let you know, so many of these people at all. So I made some selections of what order they would go in, and at 3:30 they arrived, and I talked really fast and said, then you'll be coming over here, and you'll be coming over here, move this chair, let's go. Got it, good, and then they did it. Yeah, so good for you. Amazing.
So in general, anybody, I mean, are you all aspiring to be actors, or what is your reason for doing this? If anyone wants to.
I have a full-time, well, it's a part-time job, but I realized that I needed something to be creative with, and I have a lot of small kids or small boys, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I just have a blast doing this. Yeah.
I am an aspiring actress, and I graduated from UT, so I took a little bit of a break. And then I had a baby, and then I took another break. And so now I'm here trying to break out of that mommy shell that I'm so in. And so just to press forward with that, really, but yes, to answer your question.
I actually started to do voice acting because of my voice. And I just ended up falling into acting in general, and I really do enjoy it. So it just kind of became something I fell in love with.
I used to become more confident as a leader. It helped me push leadership abilities at school. And with working with Christine, she taught, not only did she teach about acting, but the background behind theater and how things came to be. And I really fell in love with that. So I'm majoring in theater education in college. So I think just being here in general just helped me find what I want to do.
That's a lot of people want to talk about. What are you doing this for? Anybody else? Arlo? You want to be an actor someday?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. You do lots of things, don't you?
As he said, I've done some voice acting, and I haven't reached my big thing yet because I'm just a kid. I'm getting there. I've done several commercials, and as I told you before, this is my first showcase. So it's exciting to be an actor as a kid.
Anybody else? Lily?
I love acting. I'm definitely hoping to pursue it for a career someday. I love singing and dancing, like performing live, but I am hoping to maybe go down the film and TV route, like maybe moving to LA, that kind of thing. This is definitely a big part of my life, and I want it to be a big part of my life when I grow up.
Any questions? Other questions or comments? Yes, please.
Not a question, but I definitely appreciate the transitions and how smooth the video. Yeah. Watching that and moving with the chairs and the intense focus on everyone we are dancing. It wasn't so much like, oh, I'm watching the person watching them, but it was very complicated.
Thank you. Yes, right there.
I think they all did very well, and I would love to see them all in each of their plays. Very well.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I know some of you mentioned being involved with acting through your school, but for those of you who are beyond that age, are you involved in the community theater or anything like that locally?
I can answer that. As example in my introduction, I talked about Dayton Playhouse is the last several months I've been doing a lot of shows there as stage manager capacity. But I also did shows, that was one of the first big productions I did, was with Dayton Playhouse when I was younger, Sister Act. So there's plenty of great community theaters around the area, and that's the best way at this moment to get that experience, because just because it's community theater doesn't mean it's going to be lower quality. It's an amazing, amazing thing to have here.
Anybody else? Theater?
Me?
Yeah, I was also in August, Westchester County with Charles, and it was just an amazing experience. Rarely does a community theater get to play a play like Tracy Lutz like that, and do it well.
We had a wonderful production, and I've done some other community theater with Day Playhouse. Going to be doing something coming up soon with the Xenia Community Theater and sort of Opera House. So yeah, and then moving on to doing stuff in Los Angeles, which was my original goal, and doing film, you know, TV, whatever comes about that, and also theater out there as well. So.
Other questions you have? Yes, please, sir.
Did any of you write your own script for this?
Kind of a frowned upon thing when you go to auditions. They want to test you as your acting ability, not your writing ability. I know I've sat there watching being an auditor for auditions before, and if someone comes in and goes, I wrote this, I'm spending the entire time that they're acting going, did they actually get locked in a closet? Because they don't know. And so I don't see them acting. So these pieces are all from plays, and that is the typical way that you do it if you go audition for collegiate acting, or you go to some of the regional places where many theaters come. They're called unified auditions. You're required to do a speech from a published play. So I'm teaching them good technique. Yeah, it's a great question, right? You would wonder that. Nope. And they fit them beautifully, didn't they? Does anyone want to explain how you came upon this speech that you did, or speeches today? Yes, written. Right ahead.
Kind of like a process that we always do, where we do cold readings, which is basically when you just get handed a monologue for the first time and just like read through it out loud and just try your best to work through it. And whenever we get new monologues, we generally go through like a bunch of books that we have that are like in the studio, and we just try to like find as many as we can that we like, and then we just at the end we just go through all of them and do just a bunch of full readings and just kind of narrow it down to whichever ones we like the most.
Absolutely. I usually give them a selection of 5 or 6 of them that fit their just their age range and their gender, and then we'll just see how they kind of work coming out of their mouth. You know, sometimes what we try to do is, I made up this statistic years ago, I think like 87% of the success of a monologue is just the perfect monologue for you. Because if it looks like you're not even acting, it literally is the perfect thing to come out of your face, then we've done half the work, right? So we pick something that's really, really right for them. It makes me sad, you know, to see young kids and they'll go to auditions and, you know, they walk in and they're like, honey, now that we've been married for 4 years, there are actually monologues written for teenagers. I swear. Yes. What else do you want to say or ask? Yes, please.
What are some of the challenges that you face learning monologues or in your acting?
Challenge, EJ.
It's definitely memorizing them, and then saying them off the top of your head, trying to say it with kind of your personality, but still kind of being that character. So that was the challenge that I had.
I think one of the big challenges is just like finding the rhythm of it. Like when you're doing a monologue, you can feel when you just aren't hitting the rhythm, or like it's just feeling awkward coming out of your mouth. So it's definitely a struggle just playing with it, playing with different options, beats, seeing what works when it finally comes out of your mouth the right way.
I think for me, one of the biggest struggles was learning to be in the moment with your monologue, because you can do a lot of detailed work on the words and being like, this thing is this thing and this thing does that thing and colors and all this different work, that when you actually get to present your monologue, you get so caught up in doing it just the right way, just the way you wrote it down, that you forget to be in the moment and just follow along with where it takes you.
I have some particular things that aren't really taught other places, like we use crayons and other things that just happen at my studio. So yeah, they're sort of getting my method of things. So it's working. Yes, thank you.
Just as a show of hands, how many of you guys are like naturally introverts? Like this is not your how personality comes out when natural introverts are on the stage, and I think you guys did a beautiful job. I would not know if any of you all were introverts. So.
I will say I used to not be an introvert. I used to be a really big extrovert until I had my son, and I don't know what it was. I got into a little shell, and now I'm like trying to break out of that shell. So I guess I'm an introverted extrovert. But yeah.
Any other comments?
I have one more question. You mentioned you got so many choices with the monologue and what you want the character to be like and performing that. My assumption is a lot of these, if not all of these monologues, are from things you've never done. That's my assumption. So how are you able to zone in on that one option? You're like, I can do this funny, but I just get to flip-flop them. You can do it in so many different ways. How long did it take you to decide, like, I'm gonna stick with the comedy, or I'm gonna stick with keeping it serious? Like, how long did it take you for that?
So the second one I did with Ava, Remember of the Wedding, I've been working on that one for 2 years with Christine, and I have never ever done it the same. The first time I used it in an audition and we recorded it, it was completely different. It was a different rhythm, a different speed. So it depends on what show you're using it for, or what circumstance you're in, and how long you're part of it.
Just to see again, Lily. That's such a good question. I think a big part of it is really listening to yourself and listening to the way it comes out naturally. Like my second monologue I've been working on Miss Christine for 1-2 years, and at some point there's just something that kind of clicks. It's like you've been doing it one way, and then you just like get it per se, and then it's this totally new monologue. You're in your rhythm, because you're really listening to yourself. You really feel the way it comes out naturally. So I think, as she said, being in the moment and just listening to yourself helps.
And I'd like to piggyback off of that. I think that has a lot to do with what your life circumstances are at the time, because depending on where you're at in life, you might connect to your monologue differently. You might have something happen and then go, oh my gosh, this is just like what happened in this monologue. I think it might be understand. So.
Anything else on that? I can say a little bit about that too. It's different from everyone, because really we answer. There are some people standing up here that will come into the studio and we're completely planned to do something that day, and they'll walk in and go, on the way in the car, on the way here, my agent called me, or I opened something up and I've auditioned in 2 days and I need something that's funny but children's material. And then we go, okay, let's find one. And we find it, and some of them will be ready in 2 days. They kind of get the technique, they'll dive right in. They kind of become very independent, and I'm just sort of more of a guidepost for them. And then some people are brand new. So literally we've been working on their first and only monologue for over 6 months. Or I would say it should take about 8 to 10 sessions for a first monologue to really get what we're doing, and then you can kind of fly behind that. Absolutely. I'm really a text-based actor, so I really feel like the words themselves will tell you how to do them. But as some of them mentioned, you can take a speech. They might come in and say, I have an audition in 3 days, which one should I use? And we'll get out all 8 of their monologues and go, well, let's see, she's supposed to be the sister who's super quirky, so let's pick this one, but we'll just do it really quirky, so we can use it in different ways. It's really good for you and useful for you. But everybody who has a monologue from a play, we go get it. We read it, we do our homework, we know what happened right before it, who you're talking to, what are you wearing, what year is it, who was president, do you like cheese, you know everything about your character before you do it. The words don't mean anything if you're just saying them in a vacuum. So, yes.
Beyond learning the words and finding the right rhythm and cadence, how much time do you spend on body movement and gestures so that those two look natural?
Or eliminating them.
It took me until yesterday, actually, to stop doing this the whole time, because I'm so upset in my monologue, like, here, and she just told me, stand there firm and deliver it, and it comes off better than you think it is. So just yesterday.
Anybody have a light bulb moment in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Hello.
gestures or body movement, equating the words with your body movements. Yes, down there, no,
I think finding what gesture to do, like there's the whole thing of not being overly gesturing because it can come off sometimes, but if you don't know what to do, a lot of times it comes when you really understand and really have memorized and know the monologue through and through, and you get into the emotions of it. And you might do something like when the other night I was practicing and I finally got into it more. I'm like, touched my face and whoa, this is good. I like this. So it really kind of comes sometimes after you've done all the work and after you've felt the emotions, and they just come naturally.
So Jack.
I know myself, I'm an extremely fidgety person. Like the amount of times I wanted to like grab my ankles to keep me from moving around while doing both my monologues. It's just, I can never stop moving, but for these, it's really all about like getting into it and like standing tall and being like rooted to the ground, especially for these kind of things.
I love when I couldn't use my words.
I'm a very thoughtful person, and I think I'm in my head a lot, and so one of the techniques I used, I didn't even tell Christine this, was I tried doing my monologue with just my body movement to see what gestures could come out and what I could communicate that way, and that helped me find my rhythm a little bit. It was nice to just get out of my head.
One of the things, kind of adding on what we were saying about like natural body movement, is that sometimes what you'll do, you'll like do something that feels natural, but maybe it doesn't always come across as natural. Like when someone looks at you, it doesn't necessarily look that way. So you kind of have to modify it a little bit so that it looks less like you're just like slapping your leg, and more like you have like a reason why you lowered your hand to your leg. But a lot of times I'll do something and then afterwards we'll be like, that felt really weird. So we have to change it a little bit. Yeah.
Anybody else? Comments, questions, please?
How did getting to, I guess, react to somebody else while you're doing your monologue, even though the other person wasn't necessarily acting with you, how did that kind of change how you maybe deliver the monologue somewhat compared to when you were practicing at home in your bedroom?
Yeah, I see Maggie.
I feel like it was really helpful because something we learned, Christine, is like even when there's not someone there to like put someone there in that position so you have someone to be talking to. So it just makes it like, you know, we're thinking about pacing and hand motions and gestures and posture and like voice inflection and all that. So it makes it like one less thing to have to like create while we're doing it. So I guess it helped me be more in the moment, having like someone that I could relate to instead of having to like refocus myself every time, like, wait, where did I put my imaginary person? I think it's over here. Like, just having that there was really helpful. So, yeah.
DJ. It helps you feel like someone's listening. Like, so like if I'm at home in my room practicing, if somebody's not listening, I feel like I'm not talking to anybody, and it's like, oh man, this doesn't really feel real, but I'm still doing it. But it helps you when somebody's there to act like they're actually listening, so it's like, it plays out more better.
More better.
For me, it felt a lot more comfortable actually being at home by myself. Because I'm an introvert. Actually, when I got here to practice and rehearse, it completely threw me off. Like I actually messed up a couple lines in rehearsal, but I don't know, it was something about the actual performance that just kind of clicked for me, and everything kind of changed. But yeah, first time when I rehearsed, it was like, this is weird because I don't know this person and I'm just yelling at them. I'm sorry.
And I'd like to piggyback off of that, as I had the same experiences when I first had somebody in front of me, because I had gotten very used to and comfortable just being in my own head, just me there, and I felt very seen having someone staring right at me and staring right back at them. It was very uncomfortable. But then I decided to try and use that to my advantage and use it as if my character, like that is what is happening to my character. That uncomfortableness is part of the circumstances that I'm in, so I try to use that in my performance.
Amen. Arlo.
Okay, for my second scene for Scout, the dog Eric Brownlee plays my grandpa, and it was very weird at home then to right here when we were practicing because no one was being my grandpa. This is odd, no one was talking. Okay. So it felt really weird when staring at me. And it was kind of weird for me, but as she said, I used that for my character to like, yeah, look at me, look over here. So it was really fun for that.
Well said. Awesome. Anything else? We'd love to let you hug your people and take some pictures, and there's lots of like munchies and drinks, and just help yourself. And I cannot thank you enough for coming. This was also kind of a huge push of work. My husband and my daughter are working on a show right now, and you know, my mom was here, and we remodeled our kitchen at the same time. So it was a lot. And tomorrow, I have my first day of rehearsal for a show that I'm doing, and I haven't been on stage in a couple of years. And I wanted them to, I'm taking a bit of a break from the studio. I haven't done that. And I wanted them to be ready for summer auditions and have their stuff. And the next time we schedule, it'll be in May, because I'm going to go do a show. So it's really special to me.